Embiid has an injury on his hand. Drew Brees is fishing right now. Carson Wentz might still be in concussion protocol. All that and more as we kick off 2020. It's a new decade here at Live Hip Hop Daily Studios as These Urban Times present Sideline Stories. And it's so great to be with you gentlemen on a Thursday evening. Yeah. And as we were talking off air a minute ago, some of us are still in mourning and misery because our teams are home. But hey, what can you do? We're going to talk a little NFL action. We're going to talk a little NBA action. But first, we're going to dive right into college football. Now, before we get the show started, we got to give a special shout out to the birthday guy himself.
Man River.
Hey, relax. I'm still the youngest one here.
Celebrating a birthday yesterday. The man himself, Cregg Armstrong. Happy birthday to you, sir.
Appreciate you.
We got always love. We got a special guest in the building today.
Pleasure to be here.
The man himself, Mr. AT. How you feeling today, sir?
It's good to be back with you guys. I had the dynamic duo here the first time I stopped by. You were out on assignment.
Yes,
but,
indeed.
Good to be here today.
Great to
we got the right
Triche,
Triche,
to be here in the building with you right now.
The show.
Of course, the EP is in the building. H back there doing his thing. Got a special brother, my man Chris, in the building with us today. OG, triple OG. All of a sudden, Houston Texan fan.
That we just found out about. We just found
Pac,
out about.
Pac fan.
But gentlemen, we're going to talk about this college football ordeal that's going down because a few big names in college football have actually declared for the 2020 NFL Draft. The 2020 NFL Draft will be taking place in one of our favorite places in the United States, Las Vegas. Later on this year, we're going to find a way to get out there.
I'm going to be there.
But a few big names we do know will now be in the draft. One will be Chase Young, the
Clutch
Ohio
Owens.
State standout.
Clutch
Yes,
Owens.
indeed, came over and he signed with Rich Paul in the gang. So that's a great look.
And the other
Not
one?
surprising because we see all the love that they were showing Ohio State and everything
Jeffrey
like that.
Okudah.
Yeah, that's a great look with them as well. Tua let it be known on Monday that he is coming out.
Over there?
He's coming out.
Listen, we got the number one quarterback coming in. I'm cool.
That wasn't a surprise. We'll talk about that. And someone that was a surprise to me, quite honestly, gentlemen, if I don't lie, someone that's really in our backyard up the road in Athens, Jake Fromm.
No, it's not, because Georgia fans are happy.
It was a surprise to me because I don't know exactly where he's going to fall in the draft. We'll discuss that in a moment. But I want to know, what are you gentlemen's thoughts on Chase Young to start? We've seen that he had a very prominent career on the defensive side of the ball with Ohio State, but he's not playing on Monday in a national championship because Clemson and Trevor Lawrence were able to get the best of the Buckeyes. Now, this young man can go anywhere from number 1 to number 3. We know who are in the top 3 as far as picks. We have Washington, we have the Giants, we have the Dolphins in the mix, Bengals in the mix as well.
Please let them trade the pick.
Where do you see AT? I want to start with you, sir, the senior in the group, because I know you have some interesting ties here with Joe Burrow possibly coming out. We'll talk about him as well. But where do you see Mr. Young? Where's the best fit in the NFL for him?
Well, since most mock drafts that I've seen thus far indicate that Burrow will be going to Cincinnati.
Oh, God.
Rest in peace, Joe. I think Chase will probably go number 2 to the Redskins.
Okay.
The Redskins seemingly have a quarterback right now, fellow Ohio State player, and now they have a new coach, and Ron Rivera is changing the culture in Redskin land. So I think from a defensive standpoint, this will be one more piece to the several pieces they have on defense.
Montrez Sweat.
Guys from
Jonathan
Alabama
Allen.
and what have you.
Darren.
They've got some nice talent back there, but they still need to improve their offense. But I think if you're drafting that high, you want an impact changer from this draft, Chase Young is that guy.
Craig, I got to come to you next following on what AT just said. Now, if Chase Young does go to Washington, they do have a lot of pieces that you're familiar because they have a lot of Alabama alum. New head coach Ron Rivera, defensive guru, so he can help the young man in his career early. We know about the curse that possibly could lie in D.C., so it could be a career threat if he does go there. You know, not saying injury-wise, but just the Redskins stink, and it is what it is. Ron Rivera will be looking to change the culture. What could Chase Young bring to Washington if he is selected there?
If they do select Chase Young, I believe they have probably one of the top 3 front forwards in the NFL. Between Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montrez Sweat himself, and then Ron Rivera likes to run a 4-3 defense. So then you have
Works perfectly for him.
Reuben Foster coming back from injury. Sean Deion Hamilton as well there
And
already.
Ryan
Ryan Kerrigan.
Landon Collins. Good Lord, Alabama. Good Lord.
Listen, that would
It's Alabama defense.
I was surprised they didn't have a greater impact last year, to be honest with you. But I think if you go get Chase Young, you have a chance. If you can figure it out on offense, you have a chance to win the division. Like Philly.
I'm not gonna say all that, but
Well, Philly.
We know.
we're not gonna go that far.
I mean,
We know.
we will. Be
we
back.
don't know what the Cowboys are going to be because you don't know. I mean, who you got to pay either Amari or Dak.
Dak's gonna be franchise, and he ain't taking it.
Okay, there you go with that.
We'll see.
And with you paying them, somebody gonna have to take less money or somebody gonna have to
Byron
go.
Jones going to because you got to pay him too.
We'll see.
You already got so much money invested in that offensive line. The Eagles, are you gonna fix the secondary or no?
We
You
will.
gonna- yeah.
And we bringing some receivers along as well.
I'm about to say you better bring somebody to catch
we
the
will.
football.
We will.
You got to get Carson Wentz a new
Our division is
helmet.
going to turn around next year and be one of the best divisions in football. Because you're going to see development from the Giants, the Cowboys, the Redskins, and us as
So they
well.
go from the NFL East to the NFL
But
West.
to your point, it's going to be development across the NFL, I believe.
Absolutely.
And if Tom Brady leaves New England, which we'll talk about later on down the line, it may be development in the AFC East. And speaking of the AFC East, there's a quarterback right there in the SEC that you know pretty well because you're LSU Tigers, seen him a few times, that could end up in Miami. Tua. Now talk to me. Tua just did announce on Monday that he will be coming out. So it's fresh, surprising to a few folks. We know about the injury with the hip, but it does look like there's been a lot of progress. Someone's going to take a leap of faith on this young man, and the GM's going to possibly risk his career on taking it on this young man. Where do you see Tua going, and was it a good move for him to come out now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm about to go rehab and get paid. I ain't gonna bet Alabama will do what? Rehab and play and possibly get hurt again.
Get paid.
I'm gonna get paid on the table. But I'm gonna get the real cash. So I don't have to pay. If he goes to Miami per se, you still got Fitzmagic. He can sit there and rehab next year.
Shan Gailey, offensive
Chan
coordinator.
Gailey, you still
God,
got,
please, I don't want to.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, probably. But you still got Josh Rosen. What you gonna do with him? Probably trade him again. So Tua don't have to come in and play immediately. So he can sit there and heal up and get 100%. They was already trying to tank for Tua anyways. So
Now trade up and get Joe.
no.
Well, I would prefer to see him in Miami over Cleveland. I mean, over Cincinnati.
Because
Because the foundation is already there.
dig
You don't
that.
know what you have in Cincinnati with this new coach. I can't even tell you his name.
me, it's us.
but
Us
that-
four gonna coach the Cincinnati Bengals.
But at least Miami's
Taylor. Zach
coach
Taylor.
seemingly has the structure built, and they won some games they perhaps shouldn't have won in terms of getting a better draft pick. But I think the foundation is much brighter in Miami than it is in Cincinnati.
And they got a brother as a coach, so that says a whole lot right there.
I mean, you know,
And a GM.
With Tua, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he's gonna go to the Chargers.
That would be
Some
one
moving and
pick
shaking.
below Miami.
I think Miami's gonna do the Miami thing and make the wrong decision
And draft the
and pick
lineman.
somebody. Yeah, pick somebody else.
Well, you see, Miami
because they
has
have like so many picks.
3 first-round picks. So they should draft Tua. But to your point, will they do that?
Right. If he gets past Miami, I think he goes to the Chargers, which I would rather see him go to the Chargers.
Two big receivers. What you gonna do with Melvin Gordon? But you still got a nice running
But
back.
he's not going to play next year, I don't
No,
believe.
I don't think he plays next year. That's why when he did decide to leave, I was like, I feel you. Because even if he would have stayed, I don't think he would have been ready to really play till maybe October, November anyway. And by that point, it's like, what's the point?
Well, he couldn't improve his draft position pretty much
because you got
by
Trevor
going
Lawrence
back next
coming
year
out
anyway.
and
Then
Justin
Justin
coming
Fields.
out.
And Justin
So it's
Fields.
like, go ahead and go. You gonna go top 10 still.
Regardless of the fact.
So and then you got the doctor saying good things about your medical. So go ahead and go.
And let's face it, he's got a younger brother on the roster, so there may be there may have been a little push from the
His
family to
is
say,
sitting
okay, look,
right
I'm gonna tell you now,
Alabama.
his brother ain't gonna be the starting quarterback next year.
it's gonna be Bryce Young.
What's up, OJ? Talk to us.
Raise my hand like I'm in
Off air.
Yes, you do.
But anyway, you know, it was just saying what you were saying about you was just saying what's up? Just got off of that topic.
Tua? Chase Young?
All right, so what you think about Teddy Bridgewater?
Hold up. Hold on.
Look here, you skipping steps here. Man.
We gonna talk about Teddy in a minute. Cause we got to talk about a gentleman right here in our backyard. The Georgia Bulldogs for the past few years have had national championship expectations after Jake Fromm was able to help the Bulldogs get to the national championship as a freshman, and they have not been able to complete that quest. Kirby Smart has not looked so smart in a few key moments that could have possibly got the Bulldogs over the hump, and now young Fromm has entered the NFL draft. If you ask me, I don't see him going anywhere before the 3rd round, but there are a lot of GMs and scouts who believe he had an off year, or he's had a few off years because his weapons weren't there, but he has the tools. That
he was on that 3.
That he's headstrong, and that he has the tools to be a pro quarterback, a little bit better than a game manager.
But that's all he was in school, the game manager. You saw his record when he threw 30 times.
But I'm gonna start with you, B. Talk to me about Fromm. What do you see? Does he have the proper tools, in your opinion, to be a great NFL pro? And if so, what round, what team?
I see that boy be the 3rd round pick. Maybe late 2nd, 3rd round. He would probably be somebody like Seattle, something like that. Someone who doesn't really need a quarterback per se, but who's their backup? Geno? Is it Geno their backup?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
See, exactly. See, so probably a team like that. I mean, he probably won't play ever. So who cares? I mean,
AT, what are your thoughts? What do you see?
Do not be surprised if you see him with a team in the division of the NFC South. The head coach at Tampa Bay is very high on Jake Fromm. He loves him to death. The uncertainty with Jameis Winston and whether or not they will bring him back after a 30 for 30 season.
Say that again, him so you hear in the back. 30 for 30.
It wouldn't surprise me if Jake Fromm ends up being one of the key pieces to the Tampa Bay draft picks this season. So whether or not he's worthy of being a first-round pick, I don't know about that, because the young man declined considerably this past year. The wide receivers weren't up to speed. Injury was a big factor with them. The offensive coordinator came under question, and I think Jake probably had his best year, his first year with the Bulldogs, and there was a steady decline there. But I still think he is an NFL quarterback, because when you have guys like Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, and bringing little man sort of back into the game, both have different aspects of talent. Russell is certainly a scrambler and a thrower, while Drew Brees is a pocket passer. I don't know where Jake may fit in as far as his style right now, so I think the team is essential for his development and his future.
I have a small theory that Tom Brady's going to end up in Tampa Bay for some reason. And if that does happen, I wouldn't mind seeing Jake Fromm. It's warm weather down there. It's cheap living. They got money. She can live anywhere while he lives in Tampa.
She makes more than him.
I'm about to say
they can live in Miami and he can play for Tampa. They got jets and stuff like that. Craig, before we wrap up this NFL draft segment, I want to ask you real quick. One of your receivers is leaving Alabama and headed into the NFL draft. Two of them, yes indeed. Talk to me about these brothers, and are they first rounders? Where they gonna end up?
Absolutely. Jerry Jeudy is the best receiver in the country. Route running, he might be the best route runner I've seen since Amari Cooper came out of college. Henry Ruggs,
another Alabama wide receiver.
Henry Ruggs is about to go to the combine and possibly break that 40-yard dash. And if Buddy, who did they draft from Washington, Cincinnati? Ross. If he can get drafted just for being fast, Henry Ruggs way better than he was. So he does. I'm actually surprised Devontae Smith came back to school.
I thought he'd been out.
But hey, listen, God bless me.
Yeah, I'm surprised he came back to school as well.
So, but Jerry Jeudy, he's definitely going top 5. Henry Ruggs, I say top 15, top 20.
Now, things will get very interesting on Monday, January the 13th.
Ah, yeah.
The battle of the Tigers literally will take place as Clemson will be headed
versus the real Death Valley
to Louisiana to take on LSU.
The boot.
Now, a particular father and son tandem at the duo at the table I know are particularly excited about.
Cut their mics,
the team in purple and gold that'll be representing the SEC.
I chose not to. Chose to, keep it light for y'all.
But it'll be a very interesting game this Monday as you gentlemen's Tigers go to war against Clemson. So talk to me. Where do you see Joe Burrow and his Tigers? Are they going to get the job done, or is Trevor Lawrence and his Tigers a little bit too much for Coach O to dethrone?
I cannot hold back my admiration for the Clemson Tigers. They are undefeated 2 years running, the defending national champs. But every now and then someone's O's got to go. Monday night, it's going down. The LSU Tigers have been the best team in college football all year. They've got talent along the offense. The defense has been improving throughout the season. It's at its best right now. I think we will have an exciting game. How long can Clemson hang with LSU? That has got to be the main question, because that has been the question since LSU wrapped up the SEC. Who can hang with that offense? Alabama couldn't. Could not. Georgia could not. Oklahoma could not. So now we're going to face Clemson. There's been a whole lot of ACC, SEC chatter over the last 3 or 4 years of this new college football playoff. So the ACC has been holding the banner for the past 2 out of 3 years, but it's time for it to bring it home to the SEC.
Now, Brandon, I want to talk to you because we talk a lot of trash back and forth with me being a Florida State fan about who is really DBU. But you gentlemen over the past few years have been bringing a lot of DBs into the NFL, and that'll be one of the key components to Monday night's game, because Clemson, they have NFL wide receivers. That's well known. They've had them for years. We see them in the NFL on Sundays performing well. We see the legend himself has a new team in the Texans, and their best receiver is Mr. Hopkins, a Clemson alum. So it'll be a difficult task. But LSU has some of the best DBs in the nation as well. So talk to me from that perspective. What would they be able to do, and what would be key for them stopping Trevor Lawrence's weapons on Monday night?
I advise don't throw 24. Okay, I advise not to throw 24, because he's outside of the 2 plays he gave up against Devontae Smith. That's the only 2 plays he gave up for real this whole season. And one person who, even though they're Stingley gets all the praise, the person who really doesn't get thrown at is Christian Fulton, who's probably the best DB in the country, coming out probably top 1 or 2.
He top 3.
Top 3. So he gonna be a first round pick. So
you got 2 of the top 3.
Oh yeah, Jared Okudah.
But you got Okudah and Delpit,
yeah. And Grant's finally healthy. So he made his presence known, because it probably dropped more down the box to stop Travis Etienne. Him and Jacoby Stevens, who's played well. He's boosted his draft stock up. I'm pretty sure he'll probably come out. So, I mean, it's not going to be an easy test. We saw how they kind of struggled against Ohio State, where some of the receivers getting injured, and it was more on Etienne and Sunshine running the football. So the secondary, they're going to have a hard time, but they see the best receivers in the country in Jerry Jeudy and the Bama core. They held their own, so I think they'll be all right on Monday.
Craig, speaking of Bama, now you I know
speak for the hate over there, brother.
You'll have an interesting eye on this game, because both of these teams have they pretty much handled the elephants over there in Alabama. They've been rolling Tide pretty easily. Clemson, of course, handled you gentlemen.
Before you finish that, okay.
It's about how whatever you gonna say. Remember,
one win in a decade. I don't really want to.
2. Only good as your last.
It was a 5-point game.
They beat y'all. That's all.
Only good as your last.
They beat y'all. They beat y'all. That's all we gonna say. The both Tigers have proved that they're the king of the jungle recently, in those matchups. So
who do you hate more?
Who do you see advancing and actually holding the trophy on Monday night? Say it with your chest.
Who do you hate more? Who embarrassed y'all? Okay, that's you. Speak on the hatred for them.
Okay, shut up.
No.
But if I really had to think about it, I would say I think LSU's gonna win. Really, because while we talk about LSU having great DBs, Clemson has an excellent secondary as well. I think the problem with that though is LSU, and I said this before LSU played Georgia, their schemes in the passing game, they put you in such a conflict on defense. So no matter what you want to run, zone, man, combo coverage, whatever you want to do, it's going to be somebody wide open.
And also with that, like what you just said, who are you going to take away? Because we see what Oklahoma tried to take Jamar Chase away, and Justin Jefferson had a field day. So, 4. So, if you try to take him away,
that was rough.
If you try to take him away, you should have Terrence Marshall. If you try to take, so there's really
you can't.
There's nobody to guard.
You can't afford to play man.
Can't,
because if you play man, then you have Hilaire.
Clyde the Glide.
It's the same problem you have with the Saints, and we see the difference between Joe Brady being with the Saints and Joe Brady being with LSU.
And also a mobile quarterback.
That too. You have a problem in the situation where Alvin Kamara, Clyde, you play man, he gonna kill your middle linebacker every play.
Because he will route you. He will route you.
You play zone, their schemes are so diverse and so good. Is that they're gonna kill you in whether you play cover 2, 3, 4, 0, whatever you want to do. You're gonna be abused. So LSU can have a field day on offense. They really can. It's a matter of, are you going to be able to keep the ball out of Travis Etienne and Sunshine's hands? Because they're going to come out trying to run the football to
prove a point.
Not even prove a point, to shorten the game.
To shorten the game and
so give me your score predictions, gentlemen. Give me your score. What's the final score on Monday night? What you got?
I got LSU 31, Clemson 21.
21. AT, what you got, sir?
I was a little short with my prediction from the Oklahoma game. I knew LSU could score at least 40 points. They darn near had 70.
They could have had 100.
They really could have. That shit was disrespectful.
They could have had 100.
I don't expect Clemson to be able to slow LSU down in the second half. That's when LSU has been able to really put teams away. I feel this game is going to be LSU 42, Clemson 28.
42-28. B. Diddy, what you like?
I mean, we've only been less than 30 once this season. So I don't see
it.
I don't see that happening.
And who's returning for the Tigers?
Oh yeah, Michael Divinity. He comes back too. So yeah,
one more piece.
So I say,
whoop-dee.
That hate is strong.
I'm just so ready for next year. We're gonna kick y'all ass in Death Valley.
Man, we're gonna. I give
Life Valley, really, because we ain't died in a long time.
I say, man, give me 45-24.
Y'all disrespect.
Yeah, and I'm in the 40s as well. I'm going 41-38 LSU.
Well, see,
it's going to be high scoring, but I'm going LSU as well.
Clemson needs to be humbled a little bit, too.
Dabble needs to be humbled. That's really need to be humbled.
They've laid the lumber to teams they should have rolled on over the past couple of years, and they abused Alabama in the championship game last year.
Sorry about that.
So we need to get some respect back as a conference.
I tell you, bro.
Teach a few people on that team a lesson. Yeah, and while Travis Etienne has something to prove against the Louisiana team, and I'm sure he's going to try to run for 200 yards if he can, 200 all-purpose yards. I think they're going to put him in check as well. And I think after taking a few licks from some of those Tigers, he'll understand maybe he should have reconsidered and joined us in Baton Rouge.
And man, it's going to be, and all these people who's SEC people who cheer for Clemson, they're very disrespectful. Like all the Alabama fans going for Clemson, like you should stay.
If you know any Alabama fans going for Clemson, you need to slap the hell out of them on my.
Well, funny you should mention that because some website today, I happen to be playing around on Twitter, and they released the states that are divided on rooting for LSU and Clemson. And the two states within the region that we've already wiped, Tennessee, Alabama, and Florida. No, I'm sorry. Alabama is rooting for LSU. It's Georgia, Florida, and Tennessee.
Well,
within the SEC.
Three states of idiots. I don't know what to say.
But I also was surprised that Clemson had love from some West Coast states. Oregon, California, and Nevada. Well, it's like, go figure.
Well, y'all were the last people to beat Oregon.
Oh, yeah, we were.
Nevada, they betting. So
they want the upset.
Right. What was the other place?
California.
They high. They don't know
there you have it.
There you go. Right.
We're going to talk about some NFL playoffs coming up. Can we see Lamar Jackson advance? Can he lead the Ravens to the Super Bowl? Will Tom Brady come back with the New England Patriots? A whole lot more. We're going to dive into some NFL news. We'll be right back.
Find out on the next episode.